James here. This is my third fucking time recording this. Like, fucking hell. Death Battle Season 9 predictions. I'm turning this down a little bit. Yeah, I'm very sorry for being very late on this. I've tried recording this 3 times now. This is my third attempt. The first one, I got completely done. It would not upload. When during the fucking process of what the hell is, I don't remember. Rendering, I think it was. Yeah, rendering. It was like, we can't render this. Like, it was, after it was like halfway through. It's like, god damn it, okay, I'll try recording it again. My camera's a 50 bitch, so I couldn't fucking record. And then I was able to record again, but like, sometime when I was talking about one matchup that I'm gonna be covering a lot of matchups, it was just like, you know what, we're gonna cut all recording. So fucking, I couldn't use that one, so this is my third time going at this. And if another fuck up happens, we're going with an alternative method of recording because I think it's the webcam. Or just my laptop's a bitch. Anyways, we are at Death Battle Season 9. Season 8 ended like a month ago. It's supposed to be out like 2 weeks after it ended. But, yeah. There's a lot of matches that have a high chance of happening. Because, as far as we know for this season, what we do know is Ben stated that they're going to be focusing on using a lot more new franchises and some that we might not expect. So, there are a lot of matchups that could very well happen. And I also think there's also going to be, like, Season 6. They had matchups that could have happened last season because they kind of fit the bill of highly requested at the time, like some of the most requested. But, like, just got pushed off for one reason or another. And I think Season 9 will have something similar to what Season 6 had. Like, Season 5, that was a Legacy-like season. Like, and like, Aang vs. Ed and Widow v. Widow, that was supposed to happen in Season 5, but got pushed back to Season 6 for one reason or another. So, a good amount of matchups I'm going to be talking about in this, I think could also fit that bill. And, this is all speculation, going by the bit of information we got. Some of these are stretching, some of these are very possible. I do have a fair reason for all of them. Or at least, like, a decent explanation. But, yeah, this is my first fucking time. So, let's jump into it. We're going to be talking about the 6 characters that were teased first. And then go on from there. I got, like, 31 matchups or something to talk about. Oh, excuse me. First up, we got Jonathan Joestar versus Tanjiro. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Demon Slayer. Tanjiro was a teased character, and I honestly didn't think we'd be getting a Demon Slayer character this anytime soon. Because what I saw is that they would wait for the anime to be over, or at least for Season 2 to be done with. From what I could tell, Season 2 kind of just started, or it hasn't even really started yet. I don't know. The site I watch all this shit on, like all my cartoons and anime, it did not have a Season 2. It kind of just had like a recap of the movie, and that was it. Maybe that's all there is. I don't know. I haven't really watched it yet. But yeah, we're getting Demon Slayer, and honestly, this was the only character I was hyped for. I'm gonna be honest there. But yeah, Jonathan Joestar is most likely opponent. There's 2 options really. I've seen some people throw Edward Alric around, but I think we'd get another Full Metal Alchemist character before we got Ed back again. But the 2 main options I've seen thrown around are Jonathan Joestar and Hyakkimaru from Dororo. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not too well known on that one, but Jonathan is the most likely option. Like, I know Hyakkimaru, speech impediment. Hyakkimaru, I'm hoping that's the name, I don't remember. I see the argument of like, oh, we're getting new franchises, this would fit. And that's a fine argument, I will say that. I have nothing against that argument. But one argument I've been seeing people unironically use, and it's the dumbest argument, is that we just got a JoJo character, we won't be getting another one anytime soon. I don't fucking get that argument. Like, fucking Naruto, Star Wars, and Avatar don't like a word with you for the people using that stupid argument. It's fucking people from Trickery Born, too. God damn it. Anyways, I think Jonathan is the most likely one, and it's the one I'm hoping for the most, being almost in my top 10. It's not there exactly, it's like bordering, like top 15. Like probably 11 for 12 or 13. I don't know. It's high up on my most wanted. But Jonathan, I think, is most likely because it's their most popular matchup for both of them. Highly requested. They just did Dio, and while I've been seeing people stupidly say, oh, we shouldn't get JoJo because we just got Dio. A lot of Jonathan scaling comes from Dio and his scaling, so, like, you already have most of the research done. You just have to really do Tanjiro, and that's it, and just Haman. So, like, yeah. Asa's matchup is very goddamn thematic. So, yeah, I honestly really think this is going to be the one, and I would be hyped for it. I think this will most likely be the premiere, if not the next matchup, because, like, it's hard to say what they're considering will be the first character teased. Because the paranoia's been, like, the first teased character is our first episode. Yoda was the first teased character in Season 8, and he was, Yoda vs. King Mickey was first. Miles was the first character for Season 7, Miles vs. Stack Shock. So I do think Jonathan vs. Tanjiro might be it, because, like, Tanjiro's water breathing, like that animation, that was shown first. But the character that was first shown is Scarlet Witch, and we got Scarlet Witch vs. Zatanna. I got nothing to say for this matchup, quite honestly. I don't know. Also, I'm not gonna be really saying who I think wins, because I don't know who wins. Yeah, fuck it. Jonathan should win pretty easily against Tanjiro, like, just JoJo's city scaling. And Jonathan should upscale from, Part 3 Dio. I need a drink of water. And, massively fast and lay arguments. Anyway, Scarlet Witch vs. Zatanna. Scarlet Witch is the first/second teased character. Not sure who they're considering exactly. But, yeah, and Zatanna is her most likely. The only other opponent I see for her is Raven, and I don't see them bringing back Raven, and if they do, probably against Phoenix. That's my guess anyways. But, Scarlet Witch vs. Zatanna, I have no opinion on this matchup. I really don't know either of them. I know a bit of MCU Scarlet Witch. I know nothing about Zatanna. It makes sense they're doing this. This also seems like something that could happen last season. I got no opinion on it. Oh, fuck. I want to say animation styles, too. Jonathan vs. Tanjiro, Sprite, and have the water breathing be in the traditional Japanese hand-drawn. Scarlet Witch vs. Zatanna. I have nothing to really say about this matchup. Probably Sprite. Make it more magical than, like, more magic themed than their last attempt at 2 Magic Marvel vs. DC. I don't know who wins this. I've heard arguments that it's close. I've heard arguments that Scarlet Witch should win. I was going to say Scarlet Witch. She probably wins. I don't know. And then Sprite animation with some cool hand-drawn shit. Next up is Magneto versus Tetsuo. Marvel versus Akira. My thumbnail is shit. I know. I'm going to make a better one. Well, I should make a better one. But Tetsu was teased, and I got nothing to say for this one either. I got halfway through Akira before I got bored, and I ended up just stopped watching it. I probably should finish watching it someday. I got nothing to say about this matchup either. I don't really know either character. And I guess not a lot of people are happy about this one. Most people want Tetsuo to fight like Mewtwo or Eva. I think people want them to fight Eva. I don't know. And then people want Magneto to fight Accelerator. I don't know who the hell that is. But I couldn't care less about what one we got, to be honest. I don't know these characters. Magneto's a character I'm pretty interested in learning, so I'd be hyped for that part. Magneto probably stomps. I don't know where either scales to. I hear Magneto's like a lower Herald, so I don't know where Harold... Where is Harold? Is it like Moon? I think it's Moon. I don't know. Probably sprite animation. I'm just kind of more hyped to learn about Magneto. I don't really care about this matchup. Next is... This one is not likely, but just hear me out on it. Boba Fett versus 6'6". Star Wars versus Ben 10. And Boba Fett is most likely fighting Predator. I will agree with that. But I did pick 6'6" for a few reasons. One, I think another Ben 10 rep would be amazing. Though Vilgax would be a cooler Ben 10 villain rep, I'll be honest there. Oh, excuse me, sorry. And like, just... Predator, I have another matchup for him later on, and I will better explain the reasoning there. Because it'll make more sense if I explained it there. And 6'6" is likely the least likely option. If it's not Predator, it'll likely be like Wolf from Star Fox, which I'm cool with. I think Star Fox should get a return, and... Yeah, really, I'm okay with all the options I've seen thrown around, except for Sleege, just because I don't know Sleege. But, like, Star-Lord, Predator, there's another one. Wolf, I just fucking said him. Those are the main ones I've seen thrown around. 6'6" is my personal preferred, just because I would love to see another Ben 10 rep. But I'm cool with saying them. I don't really know the connections for any of them, to be honest. Star-Lord, I'll just be okay seeing a Guardians of the Galaxy rep in Death Battle. I would love to see Peter in Death Battle. Peter Quill. Wolf, I just would like to see another Star Fox rep. It's been a long time. And then Predator, new series. And it's a live-action series, which we don't get a lot outside of just Star Wars and, like, one Harry Potter. I can't think of any more than that, Jesus. But I went with 6'6". It's my more preferred, even though it's the least likely. 6'6" probably wins. If he scales to, like, the island level shit. I think Fett is, like, multi-city block. That's a shot in the dark. I don't know where the hell Fett scales at. I'm just guessing multi-city block. But if it's Predator, which it most likely will be, probably Fett then. I think Predator's, like... What the... building, I want to say. I've never watched Predator movie. And if it's Wolf, probably Wolf, like the Landmaster and the R-Wing, those like country level. Next up is 4 versus Vegeta, Marvel versus Dragon Ball. This is the most obvious one that are going to be on here. That I'm bringing up here. And I'm kind of hyped for it. I don't really have a real opinion on this matchup. I guess not a lot of people care about it. And then, like, a lot of people love it. A lot of people don't care about it. I'm, like, just in the middle. Or, like, I'm decently excited. I have no real opinion on it. But I think this would be really pretty cool. I do think both of these characters deserve a return. Like, Vegeta was Season 1. He needs a return. Holy shit. Like, especially for a character this big, to only have one episode, and it was Season 1 of Death Battle. And for similar reason, like, his first episode was Season 1. Great episode, terrible matchup. But then, like, he did get another episode in Season 4, but that was a meh matchup and a bad episode. Meh episode, it was fine, it's just... It feels like filler. God damn. So, 4 versus Vegeta. I'm okay with it. I'd like to see both of these characters return and get a much better episode than what their best are. Because, like, 4 versus Vegeta. I mean, 4 versus Raiden's like a... Raiden. I hate that name. 4 versus Raiden's like a 7 out of 10 in terms of regular Death Battle. But Season 1, that's like an 8-9 out of 10. And then Vegeta versus Shadow's like 5, high 5. I don't remember where the hell I placed that one. But, yeah, I'm fairly hyped for it. I hear 4 should out-hacks and stat stomp. Oh, excuse me. I don't know anything about the verses for this one, so don't get mad at me, Dragon Ball fans, if I say I don't know who the hell wins. I just think 4 will win. And, Sprite or 3D, I'm really cool with either. Just don't make it like the DBX. That was bad. And then the last teased character, and another one that's not likely, but let me just have this. Jinx versus Trigger Happy, League of Legends versus Skylanders. This is not likely. Jinx was a teased character, and I would not have known that was Jinx if people did not say it. I only watched, like, a bit of Arcane. I've never played the games. Not at all. I know nothing about League of Legends lore. And her most likely opponent is probably Harley Quinn from DC. Oh, God. Talking about that matchup is killing me, the fuck? But back in, like, 2018, Ben asked for, like, if we brought League of Legends character, what matchup would you want? And Jinx vs. Harley was the most brought up. So it's most likely going to be her. Trigger Happy, I think, just kind of fits in the unexpected franchises. We might still get a Skylanders episode. I would love a Skylanders episode. But Trigger Happy, I kind of went with him for that reason, and I just don't really like Harley Quinn versus Jinx. I'd rather Quinn fought Juliet from Lollipop Chainsaw. This is I have no opinion on this matchup. I don't really know or care about any of Jinx's matchups, or don't like. But, after watching a bit of Arcane, I'm decently excited to see Jinx in, Death Battle. This is League of Legends. I think it'll be fun. I know nothing about League of Legends, but it could be a new one. I mean, it's like a bit of a different one, so, yeah. I hear Trigger Happy should be Jinx, but if it's most likely Harley is fucked from what I hear. I don't know where Jinx scales to specifically. I heard, like, multi-city block for her, like, the usual, but, like, some for best shit gets her to, like solar levels, like fucking large star, or, like, solar system. I think I heard solar system. I don't know. But, yeah, that could be cool. Likely 3D for either option. I don't know. Oh, I didn't bring up, Fet's animation. SFM, all the Star Wars episodes been SFM. Did I bring up? Yeah, I brought up the other one. But that's all the teased characters, and I'm not as hyped for, this roster of teased characters. Like, Mikasa, Steven, Ryoko, Yoda. I was very hyped to see that they were getting in Death Battle. Where the fuck were the other ones? Cloud I had no opinion on, and, Doom, I didn't really care. But this one, like, I'm very excited for Tanjiro, especially if he'll be fighting Jonathan. Jinx, I am decently excited to learn about, to be honest. She seems like a very interesting character. 4, I'm just glad to be seeing again. No opinion on the rest. I mean, not 4, Vegeta. I think I said Vegeta, I don't know. But, yeah, moving on to the other matchups that I believe might happen this season, and it took me like 13 minutes. Scott Pilgrim versus Kasuma. Scott Pilgrim versus Konosuba. I can't word. I think Scott Pilgrim is very likely for this season. Between there being recent resurgence of popularity, likely probably through nostalgia, the video game making a return, and now it's anime. I think Scott is very likely to get an episode this season, and it's long overdue. The two main options I see for Scott is Kasuma, which is almost in my top 10, probably like top 20, and Travis Touchdown. I would be very excited for either, to be honest. Like, I like both of them, especially after working on Scott vs. Travis on my own. Like, seeing Konosuba and Death Battle would also be fucking awesome. It's like one of my favorite anime, so my nose is stuffy, Jesus. I'll be very hyped to see us in Death Battle. Especially Kasuma, because this is the only Kasuma matchup I really like. Subaru is very to me. Like, it's just popular isekai. And, like, that's it. Jesus Christ. I guess they keep dying. But fucking, oh god. I'd rather see this one. And apparently, like, some of the researchers like this matchup, so it could very well happen. Definitely sprite or hand-drawn. Because, like, I would like if they used the Scott Pilgrim sprites, but I don't know how many sprites are out there that really matches the Scott Pilgrim sprite. Like, Amy's sprite matches Ramona's quite well, and I think they got lucky with that. I don't know if there's a Kasuma one that matches the Scott Pilgrim art style. But, Scott should win. I don't know what, like, hacks or scaling Kasuma has. So, like, Scott's, like, country was the fucking, the subspace hack, so he should win, which sucks, 'cause I love Kasuma, but this could be a really cool one. The only issue I see is, like, getting a good placement. Like, good setting of the area. Next one is my number one or second most wanted matchup. Ori versus the Knight. Ori versus Hollow Knight. I would be very pumped for this one, and I think it is very likely to happen this season. Because a lot of researchers are apparently pushing for it. One of their animators animated one of their hand-drawn animators too, animated a fight between the Knight and Hornet called Siblings. Look it up on YouTube. It is incredibly animated and deserves more attention. And, again, it's like new franchises, and this is one of the most popular matchups right now. Probably, like, top 10 most wanted at the moment. I would assume, at least. It is very popular. Like, I barely see anyone say they don't like this matchup. But I would be very pumped for this, too. I love Hollow Knight. I love Ori. I love both of those games, and I especially love playing them. I even played them on this channel. Go watch the streams. It will take up a lot of your... Not a lot, but it would realize you have too much time on your hands if you're able to watch that shit. Especially the Hollow Knight one. But also, funnily enough, my most wanted matchup score is playing on the back. What was, it happened now. I'll be very pumped for this episode, and hand-drawn is the only way to do this one, in my opinion. And especially since I got a hand-drawn animator, it has more of a chance to be hand-drawn. I honestly would... hand-drawn also fit this perfectly. Hollow Knight already has a hand-drawn art style. Ori would look beautiful in hand-drawn, and you cannot tell me otherwise. I say hand-drawn's the best way to go, and it would definitely, like, put them, like, their most fitting animation. Like, the Knight in 3D is cursed, and I don't think either really translate well to sprite. The Knight should stomp. They're pretty close, stat-wise from what I could tell, but, the Void does give the Knight the win. I'm not scripted, if you can tell, that's why I stutter so much. But next one is a weird one. Wasn't on my list originally. Phoenix Wright versus Makoto Naegi. Ace Attorney versus Don Rampa. I do have my reasoning for this. Apparently the team members really want Don Rampa in Death Battle. And Ben also said we might do some unexpected matchups. And like ones that could be like, they're doing this one? To quote him. Well, kind of quote him. I don't remember if that's exactly what he said, but like, it's the general idea. This would be a weird one. And I do see people argue it wouldn't fit a death battle. And I do agree. But they are willing to do different types of episodes. Macho Man versus Kool-Aid Man is a good example. You also got like Deadpool versus Mask. Meta versus Carolina. They're willing to do bit different things. And I do think this episode would work well in that type of way. Like, if they're willing to change it and make it a bit longer, like a 6-minute fight or something, 6 or 5, like, you could make this a really fucking good episode. Like, a very unique one, too. Like, it would be a court battle instead of, like, a physical fight. And I honestly think that would work really well and could be really fun to watch. Like, mix the two different styles. Like, the Danganronpa style and the Ace Attorney style in the court. Could be really cool. Definitely Sprite for this one, and I'm not sure who would win, because it's very different from, like, your usual matchup. I hear Makoto should luck hacks. That's so weird to fucking say. He should luck hacks his way through? It feels weird to say that. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But Makoto should win via hacks with luck. I'm not sure who would win. I honestly think this would be a really cool fight. And again, Don Rampa and Death Bell, something that researchers and a good amount of the team wants, could be really fucking cool. And also, like, Ace Attorney, that'd be a unique series in Death Bell. Next up is not the most likely, but Cat versus Uraka. Gravity Rush versus My Hero Academia. I think My Hero is likely for this season, but like a lot of the ones with the best matchup, or like a lot of the better characters they use, you can't really use them until the series is over. Mainly like Bakugo and Midoriya, you can't really use them until My Hero Academia is done with. Uraka, I think you can use her before the series is done with. And this is really her only matchup. Like, fucking Koichi from JoJo does not really work, in my opinion. And Cat's, like, her most requested. Also, Gravity Rush and Death Battle, that'd be cool. It'd be another new franchise. And I would be hyped for this. It's one of those matchups where I don't know the most about it, but I would be very excited for it, and it's, like, in my top 30 most wanted. I think it'll be a really cool fight, and definitely make it 3D. I'm not sure who wins. I would assume Cat would win. I don't know where My Hero Academia scales to right now, at least characters that aren't Midoriya. I don't know where Uraka scales to. I would assume multi-city block, but I could be wrong. And I don't know where the hell Cat scales to. I don't know much about Gravity Rush. But that'd be a cool fight. And then one that I feel like is one of the most likely of all the ones I'm bringing up, Finn and Jake versus Mordecai and Rigby, Adventure Time versus regular show. I honestly think this has one of the highest chances this season. Like, out of all the matchups I'm talking about. Because we got a cartoon matchup every season. Like, at least starting from season 7. We got Danny versus Jake, and then we got Star versus Steven. Mordecai and Rigby versus Finn and Jake, I think would be very likely for this season. And I do hear people say that it could also be Jimmy versus Dexter. I don't fully think that. Well, I do see the arguments, and they are good. Like, a lot of cartoon matchups could very well happen this season. Oh, excuse me. But the reason why I think Finn and Jake versus Mordecai and Rigby are the most likely this season is because, like, back, I think, during Ben versus Hal, like, on Reddit, someone asked about, are they doing, like, more cartoon episodes, and I believe it was Sam that said, yeah, we're thinking about doing more cartoon episodes, and he mentioned Danny, Finn, and Steven. We got Danny, we got Steven, now it's just Finn, and this is just his best matchup. This is all their best matchup. All best matchups, and it would feel weird having them fight separately. Like, having any of them fight without the other. So, yeah. Also, it's, like, one of the most popular right now. And would definitely, like, fit their target demographic. Because a lot of people that grew up on these shows are at the age where they're watching this shit. Like me. Like, I grew up a bit on these shows. Why is it not? Okay, it was fucking Suit Yourself. I have scores playing in the background. But, yeah, I do think this is most likely for this season overall. And, again, it's one of the most popular right now. It's definitely high up there. One of the most requested. And I honestly think it has the biggest chance this season. I've seen arguments like Dexter versus Jimmy, SpongeBob versus Gumball. All these are very likely. I do think Finn and Jake versus Mordecai and Rigby are the most likely ones. Definitely sprite animation. I hear people say this should be hand-drawn, and while that would be cool, I think there's other matchups that should be hand-drawn over this, and also because, like, there are 4 characters in this one, and a lot of shit to work with all of them animation-wise. I think hand-drawn, while be cool, would be a bit too limiting because of budget restraints. So I do think Sprite might work the best for this one, and also can make it, like, you can get the most out of their arsenals, because, like, Mordecai and Rigby, they have a lot of shit. Like, they have a lot of items they collected over the years in the show. Finn and Jake, also plenty of stuff, especially, like, all of Finn's swords, Jake's morphin abilities. I think Sprite might be the best way to do this one, to get, like, the maximum potential you're going to get out of these characters. Mordecai and Rigby should stat stomp and out hacks. Like, I think Finn and Jake are, at best you can argue, planets. And then, like, Mordecai and Rigby are, like, star or moon or some shit. Like, oh god. I would be very hyped for this one. This is a matchup I love. I didn't grow up the most on these shows. I'm more of a Adventure Time dude than I am a regular show guy, but I would love both. I love both, and I would love this matchup happens. And then this one, not very likely, but I threw it on here anyways. Now Fumi versus Ramiro. The Rising of the Shield Hero versus That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Longest title. But, yeah, this is one I don't think is the most likely. I just threw it on here because, fuck it. Both are, like, new franchises. Not the most expected. The only reason I can't see them doing this, at least this season, is because I don't think either franchises are finished, and this might be... These characters, at least, you might have to wait for their, for the anime slash... I think they're web comics. Yeah, I think they're web comics. You have to wait for those to get done first before you touch them in Death Battle. Also, I think this is the best for both. It's my most wanted, like 10 most wanted. I honestly think this would be really cool too. You have like, this is the definition of an unstoppable force versus an unmovable object. I honestly think this would be a really cool fight, and a lot of animation potential too, because how big their arsenals are too, between all of Naofumi's different shields and all the different attacks Ramiro has, as well as like transformations and shit. I also would love to see this one happen, and I believe Ramiro should win, which sucks because I love Naofumi much more than Ramiro. I also love the Rising of the Shield Hero, but I would be happy to see this matchup happen in general. Also, Sprite again, like bring up the most in the animation. Next is one I also think is also like one of the most likely for this season: Sans versus the Judge, Undertale versus Off. And, I see some other options for Sans chucked around. Koro Sensei, Bill Cipher, the Skull Girl from Skullgirls, the Skull Heart, I don't know. Maria, is that her name? Other matchups, Sans has like thousands. Fuck you, Animation Rewind, for making 1,000 Sans matchups. But the Judge is definitely going to be his matchup. I'm not just saying it because, oh, it's his most popular and I want this one. It's in my top, it's like my third most wanted, but on Twitter a couple years ago, from what I heard from sources, and multiple sources have claimed this, so I'm assuming it's true. I would hope it's true. Ben said if we ever bring Sans in Death Battle, he will fight Judge from Off. I have not been able to find this one myself exactly, but I have found multiple people claiming this. So I'm assuming this is true. And I would love if this is true. Again, it's like one of my most wanted. It's also like their most requested too. And Undertale is just overdue for an episode. Sans would make the most sense to introduce the franchise too, because while I would prefer if Papyrus was our first Undertale rep, Sans is like one of the most known video game characters, well, modern video game characters at least. So he is definitely going to be our first Undertale rep. And like I said, Judge is his most requested. And I would love if this fight happens. There's plenty to do with it, and I also think like doing Sans and DBX last season was like kind of a way to test the waters to see how Undertale would do in Death Battle. So, good few reasons why I think this will happen. I will definitely be one of the most... this episode will be the one I'll be the most hyped for. Judge should stomp. I think this matchup purely comes down to hacks and speed. The Judge should outspeed, from what I hear. I'm not sure what the off speeds are, because like I've heard a few different things. I've played for off myself. Check my channel. I have a playlist for it. You can waste a day of your life watching that if you want. But, I'll be very hyped for this one. And definitely sprite animation. You don't animate an Undertale character in any other one. Next one is Ash vs. Lucy, Pokemon vs. Fairy Tail. I see many people saying Yugi should be Ash's opponent. I don't think so, for multiple reasons. I'm gonna also make this like a debunk of Ash vs. Yugi as a matchup. Not really debunk. I don't know the word exactly, but to sum up why Ash vs. Yugi does not work and it's not a good matchup, it solely rides on the argument of rivalry makes good matchup, which it does not. Especially with Pokemon. It has a lot of matchups. I mean, a lot of rivalry matchups. Oh god, I'm tired. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not a special one, no matter what the hell your childhood is saying to you. Digimon is the biggest Pokemon rivalry matchup, and they already did Pokemon vs. Digimon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a matchup. Okay? Fucking god. Anytime I hear someone say this should be Ash's matchup, it always starts with, these are my childhood characters. For fuck's sakes. Second reason, it is a very boring Pokemon rivalry matchup. That's more of an opinion, but, you know, whatever. Also because this matchup does not work. Yugi's monsters just tower over Ash's Pokemon. You cannot have a functional fight dynamic with this matchup, for God's sakes. Also, all the arguments of, what the hell is the word I'm looking for? Oh, what am I looking for? What's the word? Fucking... I'm zoning out on, like, the word I'm trying to think of. Like, why am I blanking so much? The fight dynamic. Not fight dynamic, the dialogue. Dialogue. People say, oh, the dialogue would be spectacular, though. All the arguments I hear is, like, them preaching about their beliefs. That's out of character for Ash. Yugi, I believe that's in character. I've watched a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly for Kaiba. I'll get to that a bit. But you would be taking Ash out of character if you're saying, oh, he could preach about his own beliefs and make a really good fight dialogue. Fucking no, it does not make good matchup. Jesus Christ. Also, if you want a actually I fucking almost forgot to mention this. If you're looking for fucking Pokemon versus Yu-Gi-Oh! It would make more sense to do Red versus Yugi if you're just looking for the rivalry aspect and Yugi. It would make more sense to do that. That's more of the rivalry than it is Ash. For God's sake. And then also, the only thing this matchup has is LOL rivalry. And your childhood does not make a good matchup. That's all this matchup relies on. It's my childhood rivalry matchup. That's all it has going for it. Oh, good. If you want a Pokemon vs. Yu-Gi-Oh! Matchup, just do N versus Kaiba. That matchup actually works and has connections. Jesus Christ. Also, anyone bitching about, oh, Ash vs. Lucy has very bare bones connections. Yugi does too. Shut the hell up. Oh my god. That was more so a rant about Ash vs. Yugi. But Ash vs. Lucy, this was Community Death Battle back in Season 7 during, I think it was for the sneak peek of Genos vs. War Machine. So, yeah. It was Community Death Battle, and I know Ash vs. Yugi got Community Death Battle recently, but that one happened first before Ash vs. Yugi. So I do think it's much more likely to happen, at least before Yugi. As well as much more likely for this season. It's also, like, been requested for years. And it's more requested than Yugi, overall, I believe, at this point. And it has better connections. God. Why do people love Ash vs. Yugi so much? Oh yeah, childhood. I'm sorry for ranting. It's cool to like the matchup, but, like, it's not good, for God's sakes. But, like I said, Community Death Battle, it's a very long time request. I honestly just think it'll happen this season. It also uses Ash to his best of his abilities, and Lucy. Outside, I like the Star Dress, but I'd rather focus on the spirits. Ash should win, I hear arguments for Lucy, but it should be an Ash win, whether you include I Choose You or not. And definitely sprite animation. Next up is Issei versus Tatsumi. High School DxD versus Akami Got Kill. I do think we are likely to get another Akami Got Kill matchup this season. And this is the only other one I really hear about. It's also one of my most wanted, so that's awesome. High School DxD will also be kind of an unexpected franchise. While it is a pretty popular one, its main focus is titties, so like fucking... It'll be a weird one to have. And they have had Elfen Lied on Death Battle, and I believe there is a version of High School DxD where the titties are censored with High School DxD. Oh god, I went from a rant to fucking being an imbecile. Whatever. I do think it's very likely to happen. It's both their most requested. I honestly would love for this one to happen. Issei should win. I believe if I remember correctly, he's planetary. Not planetary, planet level. And definitely make this in Sprite. I'd love to see High School DxD in Death Valley, even though it's not one of my most favorite series of all time. And I would like to see more Akami Got Kill, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, at least of the anime. Next up is like my fourth most wanted. Clementine versus Ellie. This, I think, has like a very good chance of happening this season. Both Telltale Walking Dead and Last of Us are big right now. Like, The Last of Us 2 thing is still going on. Not as much, but still going on. I believe there was like a live-action adaptation of Last of Us announced for HBO, I want to say, and they have sponsored them before. Also, there is the terrible, but relevant, Telltale Walking Dead comics, and I believe a 3-part novel series. I don't know if that's out yet. But also, Telltale Walking Dead is kind of in a nostalgic thing right now because a lot of people, like a lot of kids, kind of grew up on this series. I know I did, and I'm fucked up, so that explains a lot. But I do think it's very likely this season because of these reasons. And also, unexpected. Walking Dead and Last of Us aren't the most expected franchise being Death Battle. I also think we're kind of overdue for a zombie episode. We only had one, and it was just an okay one. Well, I thought it was a good episode, but, like, it could have been better. But Clementine vs. Ellie, it's definitely their most requested, for each other at least. High up there in requested, not top 10, that for sure, but it's a very requested matchup. Could be a lot of fun. I'd love to see more, like, 2 more human characters go fighting each other. That was really cool with Nightwing versus... not Nightwing. Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. It was cool when we did it with that. I would love to see it again. But not with, like, Marvel and DC characters this time. Definitely, I would love to see some 3D. And, like, the only issue I see with that is, like, you have to have zombies in this. You have to have either the walkers or the infected in this matchup. So just rendering is the only issue I see with making this 3D. But they've gotten better with their 3D animation, and part of that was why we didn't get Frank versus Leon, and Leon versus Frank in 3D. Also because rendering their Frank's large arsenal, but these two have a much more watered-down arsenal. Clem kind of just has the bow, a gun, and a knife. Ellie does have a few weapons, but you don't need to show all of them. You kind of just have to show, like, her pistol, her switchblade, and then, like, a bow or a gun. Maybe a few of the... well, you have to have, like, a scissor bomb. At least one. One or two. So, I don't see it being as much of an issue rendering, though it could still be a bitch rendering. I'm not most knowledgeable on that process. I'll be very hyped for this episode happening. This could possibly be a Halloween-themed episode, one of the 3. I mean, 2. One of the 2. If we get something similar to, Season 7's. Clem should win, last I checked, unless there are some new buffs for Ellie. And, don't use the comics for Clem, please. For the love of God, just end it at the games. And please end it at the games. Don't do what Telltale did. Next one is Galactus vs. Unicron, Marvel vs. Transformers. I have like free matchups on here that are just on here because they're likely. They're just likely in general. And I do think Galactus Unicron is very likely for this season. Following the same idea for Season 6 that I mentioned earlier and never really brought up again for this video, this could have very well happened last season. So I do think it's very likely to happen this season. I got no opinion on this one. Galactus should stomp. Fucking 3D, and it would be a finale. Next is Pikachu versus Jibanyan, from that fucking show good. Pokemon versus Yokai Watch. I think we are likely to get a Pokemon matchup this season. Likely either Pikachu or Ash. Or maybe another one, and versus Kaiba. That'd be fun. That'd be awesome. But Pikachu versus Jibanyan, Pikachu is overdue for a death battle. For a return. And I would love to see Yokai Watch in death battle. No, excuse me. And again, like, new, unexpected franchises. Yokai Watch isn't the most well-known franchise. Also, a lot of people that grew up on it currently death battle watchers, so it kind of has that nostalgic boom. I should have mentioned that with Skylanders earlier, too, damn it. And whatever. You probably could figure that out. Or assume that. But Pikachu vs. Jibanyan is very likely. I believe it's also considered like a legacy matchup. Because Star vs. Steven, that's considered a legacy matchup. And like, this is older than that one. I think it's like a year older. So, I would love to see this one as well. It'll be a very cool one. The only issue I see with this one is the fact that Pikachu can't really see Jibanyan. Unless there's something about like, oh, Yokai can choose to be seen or not by other animals and creatures. Or animals can see Yokai. I don't fucking know. It's been a long time since I really looked into Yokai Watch. But Jibanyan should out-hacks Pikachu. I'm not too sure. It's one of the only good Pokemon rivalry matchups, for God's sake. Next one is Marth versus Erdrick. Oh yeah, Sprite. Marth versus Erdrick. Fire Emblem versus Dragon Quest. This 2021 been asked for Fire Emblem matchups. It was during the wait for, like, it was during the DBX part of Season 8. And this was one of the most requested. I would not mind this one, to be honest. Like, I don't really know most about it, but Fire Emblem and Dragon Quest, I would love to see in Death Battle. I'm only a couple hours into 11. I gotta beat that game. And the only Fire Emblem game I've played is the one with the J-pop, just because it seems stupid, and I'm having fun with it, and I don't know how to feel about that. I gotta beat that game, too. But, like I said, it's one of the most requested. Though, finding out that the League of Legends request, that was in 2018, and it took us till 2022 to get it, I don't think it's as likely as I originally thought that we'll get a Fire Emblem matchup this season, but this is the one I can see most likely happening. Or maybe a free house character, I don't know. Morph would probably make the most sense to do so, and same with Erdrick. But I'll be hyped for this one. I'd like to see both of these franchises in Death Battle. I would like to learn more about Fire Emblem as a whole. But, yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one. I'm not the most familiar with these characters. Definitely Sprite, you can do 3D. The SFM team does do a good job with, like, sword fights. And there are the Smash models. But I think Sprite would make the most sense to do. Next up is the only Marvel vs. DC I have on here besides the one I already covered. Mr. Fantastic vs. Plastic Man. We're likely to get more Marvel vs. DC, but it's like the only one I made a thumbnail for. This is the only Marvel vs. DC matchup I really like. It's like my top 20. And I would love to see this one happen. I don't really like their other options. Like, Reed does not have any that really utilize his stretching abilities, which is what I would prefer with their matchups. And like, Plastic Man, only other one I've seen is like Luffy. And I'd rather see Luffy get a different one. But, yeah, it's fantastic. It's Plastic Man. The connections are basic, yes. You're going to get that with all their matches, to be honest. I honestly think this would be a lot of fun. Plastic Man should win, last I checked. Record, that was in 2019. December of 2019, so shit could have changed since then. I'm not too sure. I would lean towards Plastic Man. It's very debatable. Fight. Especially with their, like, rubbery abilities, I think it get a bit messy in Sprite. And 3D, just no. 3D would be cursed, these guys. Anyways, Cole McGrath versus Alex Mercer. Infamous versus Prototype. Like Galactus versus Unicron, and my next one. I just have it on here out of obligation. It has a high chance of happening, this one. New franchises. I need water. Same. I do think it's very likely for the season, and if it doesn't, it likely will stay a 50-50 chance until, like, their next Legacy-style season, which is 11, if they do that for their 200th, for the season's 200th episode. I have no opinion on this one. I kind of just want it to happen so it's done with. Same with Splash Unicron. I just want to see it happen so the people that have been wanting it are just happy. They get the matchup they've been wanting for years. Learning about these characters could be fun. I don't care about this one at all. 3D/SFM. Cole should win. I believe Cole stomps. I don't know. Next is Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers. Again, I generally don't care about this one, like, at all. With it makes sense to do too. Again, following the same idea as season 6. Only I knew what was going to happen last season. But we also have the trend of a live action episode every other season. Since we got it, at least, which is just season 5 and 7. But season 9, we're likely to get a live action fight, and Jason versus Michael is like the only one I can think of that they'll do. Definitely the Halloween episode. Fucking, I don't care about it. Kind of just want that to get done with. I think Jason stomps. Yeah, Jason stomps. I don't really know much about horror films. Next is the one that's kind of on here just because you'll know why instantly. Juvia versus Katara. Katara. Fairy Tail. Like every season since Aang vs. Ed. Even though I love Avatar, it's like one of my favorite cartoons now after binging it. I would like a break from Avatar just so it doesn't feel stale and repetitive. And the reason why I picked this one is like Katara doesn't really have any other matchups. And them bringing in anytime soon are Katara, Sokka, and Toph. I don't see Sokka coming in before we got the waterbender, so then we have like all of the types of benders, because we got Toph, we got Aang, we got Zuko, and like Korra, but like Toph is Earth, Aang is Air, he is an Avatar, so it's all of them, but you get the point. And then Zuko is Fire. I see us getting Katara before like Toph returns, or someone with no bending at all. And I can see Toph returning. She hasn't had episodes since season 2. That episode's pretty bad. And Toph versus Terra. That could be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of fun. I like that matchup. But yeah, Katara versus Juvia. I'd also like to see Fairy Tail and Death Battle if we don't get Ash versus Lucy this season. I do like this matchup. I don't have a lot to say about it though, for God's sakes. Juvia should I don't know how accurate that is. I'm gonna say Juvia. I think Juvia wins. I don't know if it's a stomp or not, but Juvia probably wins. Definitely Sprite anime. It was like the water and hand drawn, possibly. The next one is here purely out of fucking obligation. I don't. Oh my god. Gara versus Crocodile. Naruto versus One Piece. Fucking. God. If you saw my Madara versus Aizen predictions, you would know that on entire Naruto and Death Battle, like, we've been getting, like, fucking a Naruto episode every season for 5 years at this point. Like, how long has it been? Season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 fucking years! We begin a new Naruto episode, and I'm tired! I'm tired of Naruto! I don't think any franchise but Marvel and DC should begin an episode more than 3 seasons in a row. Especially now, when we do like yearly. But give Naruto a season without it appearing. Like, go the season without Naruto, maybe next season as well, or just bring it back next season. Like, season 9, can we please not get a Naruto episode, and then get one in season 10 or 11? God, give this series a break, man. Oh, God. But yeah, Gar versus Crocodile. Fucking, I don't care. It was the only Naruto matchup I could fucking think of. I guess there's Sakura versus Tifa, but like, I don't know. I don't care about this one. I'm gonna assume Garo wins. I don't know. Does he scale to the moon level shit? Fuck if I know. Sprite, just... Okay, Peter Griffin versus Homer Simpson. Family Guy versus The Simpsons. I think it's likely for this season. And I would love to see it. It's a legacy matchup, and it could be a lot of fun. They've been using Simpsons clips for like years now in Death Battle. They've been using them for a long time. And like they've used like Family Guy clips of lately too. They use Macho versus Kool-Aid, and they use Peter clip in Popeye versus Saitama, which the score is playing right now. So I do think it has a good chance of happening this season. Also, same idea as 6. I honestly really like this one. It's also become decently popular. The people that made the song. I see people playing the song and their videos are taken down. Don't take mine down. I'm not even getting paid for this. You're not making money. Yeah, Peter versus Homer, though. Likely for this season, I would assume. I would love to see it happen. I grew up on Family Guy. At least in middle school I did. In 7th grade, I watched it a lot. No real connection to Simpsons, so I should watch the early seasons. Watch, like, the good seasons, and that's it. And, like, a Bart Hood video episode. I don't know who wins this. From what I've seen, it's debatable. I believe Peter should win. I'm not sure about that. I would assume Peter wins. And I think Sprite works fine enough. Sprite or hand-drawn. I think Sprite, just save the hand-drawn slot for a different episode. Next, just like now Fumi vs. Ramiro, I kind of just add it to add it. I don't know how likely it is for the season. Matsuki versus Isaac. Chucky. Five Nights at Freddy's versus Child's Play. God. Oh, God, I hate those FNAF kids sometimes. This is likely to happen this season. For God's sakes. This purely is going off the idea of unexpected franchises. Who would expect Five Nights at Freddy's? God fucking damn it. Oh god. This video feels like the 5 stages of grief. Also, we reached an hour long. Holy shit. The other one was like not this long. But Springtrap vs. Chucky, I think has a good chance of happening this season. Springtrap, just in general, I think is likely this season. Five Nights at Freddy's is in a nostalgic phase. Security Breach, very popular, brand new right now. Five Nights at Freddy's is very popular right now. Expected franchises. Who would expect fucking Springtrap? Also, like, Springtrap and Funtime Freddy are like, is it Funtime Freddy? Glamrock Freddy are the only Five Nights at Freddy's characters I could see being in Death Battle, because they're really the only ones that have anything to work with. More so, like, Springtrap has more stuff to work with plot-wise, like, story-wise, but Freddy has more to work with fight-wise. But, the reason why I picked Chucky is just because I honestly think that's his best matchup. And while I do see the issue of size being brought up, and I did see that in issue 2, Chucky does, like, fight a bunch of people that are, like, only a foot shorter than him most of the time, outside of the kid from the movies. I haven't seen a Child's Play movie. And Springtrap does kill kids. Not the size of Chucky, but, like, I don't see the size being as big of an issue as I originally saw it, and how I see other people try to push it as an issue. I would like to see this one as a death battle, though. This could be, like, along with Jason versus Michael, the other Halloween episode of the season. And honestly, could be a lot of fun. Just Chucky lunging at Springtrap's face, just trying to jab with the fucking knife. That'd be funny. I honestly think this would be a really fun episode, and I would love Five Nights at Freddy's and Death Battle just for, like, the holy shit. That could maybe, nah. I was gonna say maybe SFM, but I'm not sure about that. Next is Predator versus the Meta. Predator versus Red versus Blue. I do have reasoning for this, and let me explain. Like I mentioned earlier, Fett is likely to fight Predator, but the reason why I did not have Fett versus Predator, even though I should have probably went with Wolf instead of 6-6, but whatever. The reason why I went with Predator against the Meta is because, so I had a burp there. Sorry. Every season we got a Ruby character, we got a Red versus Blue the next. Season 2 we got Yang versus Tifa. Season 3, Meta versus Carolina. Season 6, Weiss versus... Oh, excuse me, there it was. But Season 7, we got Red versus Blue. Season 8, we got Blake versus Mikasa. Season 9, I see it being Meta versus Predator. And another reason why is, like, there's only 2 RVB episodes I could see happening, at least with my knowledge on RVB. Anyone can go ahead and correct me on this part. But there's only 2 Red vs. Blue matchups I can really see happening. That being the matchup I'm talking about now, Predator vs. Meta, and Sarge vs. Soldier. And I know Sarge vs. Soldier is considered the more likely option, but the reason why I don't think that's likely to happen is because Sarge, like, Season 7 is still pretty recent. That's like, what, a year, 2 years old? The episode itself, Red vs. Blue, is only a year old. So, at least of right now, nearly 2. Not nearly 2, it's like a bit over a year old at this right now. So, I think Sarge is a bit too recent of a character. As well as him appearing in Macho Man vs. Kool-Aid Man, and as well as them just wrapping up the Boomstick Father arc. If they do this matchup, which is very likely, is a very popular matchup, I see it being saved for season 11. Because that's, I believe, should be the next Legacy season. So that kind of just leaves Meta versus Predator. And, yeah, that's my reasoning for it. Not the best reasoning, but you can see the argument. At least I would hope so. That's kind of why I think Sarge vs. Soldier won't happen, and why I don't think Fett vs. Predator will happen. If it happens, I won't mind either way. But, Predator versus the Meta, I think is the most likely to happen this season. Purely going by off what we know, what has been happening as of late, and just past season trends. As well as, like, I can't think of any other RVB matchups that I really see requested that could be a death battle. And I know Meta did appear in a death battle before, but that was a while ago, and that wasn't as much of a death battle as much as a Red vs. Blue episode, since it's canon to RVB. At least from what I hear. But, yeah, Meta versus Predator, I think could happen this season as our RVB episode if we don't get, Fett vs. Predator. Fucking 3D animation. I think Meta wins. I'm not sure. It'll be nice to see a RVB episode that's not against RVB, for God's sakes. Next is a matchup I don't like myself, and I have my reasonings. Doomsday versus SCP-682. Is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. 682. I don't like this matchup. I have my reasoning. The matchup itself is fine. I am neutral on the matchup itself, connection-wise. Fight dynamic-wise, I don't care about it at all. It seems kind of meh. But the reason why I don't like this matchup is why it got popular in the first place. It got popular because DCL against a non-Marvel. And I do not like that idea. Not because, oh, I don't want to see DCL against a non-Marvel. I don't want to see the matchup get popular for that reason alone. I didn't like Kyle vs. Simon at first because of that reasoning. Only I grew on that matchup because especially didn't help when it lost traction when it was considered a Kyle win. But the difference is with that matchup is I started to grow on it because it is a generally fun idea. Animation-wise, and also fucking, Will the Drill. Those are both huge reasons why I grew on that matchup. And also watching Gurren Lagann. But with Doomsday vs. SCP, it got big because of DCL. That's why it got pushed so much. And I don't think that's a good reason to push a matchup at all. Like, regardless. Just to see a franchise or character lose. And, yeah, also I don't think SCP really works in Death Battle. Because, at least specifically this SCP, most SCPs really, because, like, SCP is text-based. It's purely text-based, and anything can be considered canon. It's like if fanfiction was canon, only this isn't really a fanfiction character. So, it's liable, that it, like, SCP could be Death Battle. And this would likely be the only character of that nature. But fucking, it doesn't have a lot, and like, so it could be a very big bitch to scale and might not even be worth it. And like, I know there's the games, the SCP games, but like, I don't think that 682 appears in the games. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's in it at all. Oh, excuse me. Like, I could very well be wrong, but even if so, you would have to rely a lot on fan-made stuff. And I know sometimes they use fan-made stuff, but that was like Season 1 era. That's not nowadays Death Battle. That was early Death Battle. So I really don't think that this would like as 682 would happen. Now, why might I have it on this list if you're asking that? It's one of the most popular matchups right now. Like, it is high up there. I don't like why it's one of the most popular, but it is. If you like the matchup for the matchup itself, not because, oh, DCL, and that's perfectly fine. If you just like it because DCL, or you're using that as a reason why you think it's good or you like it, fuck off. It's not a good reason on why the matchup is good. Because Series L takes an L is not a good reason. I'm not saying anything new here, but like, fucking Christ, that's why it got so big in the first place. But like I said, it's one of the most popular matchups right now. As well as like, unexpected franchises. Like I said, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. These are very unexpected. Ice Cream SCP cross around is a very unexpected idea. And they have brought up SCP as of late. Like on like a Death Battle cast as of late, like Liam brought up SCP. And Chad did say SCP does not count as like a fanfiction thing, so it's not flat out banned. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like this matchup. It's cool if you like this one. Unless you like it just because haha DC elegance on Marvel. Thanks for liking it. Oh good. Doomsday takes a fat L. 682 should win. 3D. We're almost near the end of matchups, like the last ones. Elsa versus Jack Frost. Frozen versus the Rise of the Guardians. I am neutral, leaning to I don't really want this as a death battle. Done here. Like I said, unexpected and new franchises. They're willing to use animated movie characters. We've seen that with Poe. So it has a high chance of happening. Oh, excuse me. But apparently, I couldn't find this myself, but they said, or at least Ben said, like, if they ever did Elsa in Death Battle, she would definitely go up against Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. And I'm fine with that. The matchup itself is fine. The only issue I see with it is Jack Frost specifically. I like Jack Frost. I like Rise of the Guardians, even though I haven't seen it in like fucking years now. I just don't think there's too much, at least from memory. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm not sure if there's a lot to really work for Jack Frost scaling-wise. Because I know Elsa, she's like two big feats. The covering all of Arendelle feat with snow, and as well as the feat of stopping that is country and town. Or continent and town. I don't know. I mix up continent and country. Jack Frost, I don't exactly know what he has. I'm not sure what there is for scaling for Jack Frost. Like, what exactly the fucking other characters in it, like Santa and the Easter Bunny, have, if he scales to them. Like, I don't know. That's kind of why I don't like it. Otherwise, it's fine. It's just like, I'm not sure exactly how well this could work. But as a matchup, it's fine, and I would not mind it. I'm just a bit more lenient on, I'm not sure if this exactly works all that well. But I'm not sure who wins, because, again, I don't know where Jack scales to. But I'm going to go with Elsa for now. I would love to see Jack win. I know Elsa has, like, her best speed feat catching an arrow, and her best durability is just tangling with the literal seahorse. Sprite or 3D? I think either works. Or hand-drawn if they're willing to go that route. I need another drink of water. I've been talking for an hour. I swear to God, if the recording fucks up again, I'm gonna be pissed. And we're going to go with a different route to do this. It's going to be a weird route. Anyway, second to last matchup, Luigi versus Pac-Man. Not Luigi's best. His best is obviously the 5-9 phrase animatronics. Oh my god, I love that score. I love that idea. It's stupid. I love it. But Luigi versus Pac-Man. Mario versus Pac-Man. Luigi got shafted hard in his episode. Even ignoring the fact that he lost, he got shafted hard in that animation and in the explanation. And it's also wrong, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, Luigi definitely deserves a return, and Pac-Man is his most popular matchup. I've grown on it. Before I was like neutral, didn't like. I was kind of like May to nay on it. I'm growing to it. It's like a May to a yay. But yeah, I don't have the most to say about it. It's definitely like both their most popular ones right now. Oh god, so I had another burp there. I'm drinking bubbly water. No, sorry, excuse me. And Luigi deserves another chance. A good episode, not a terrible one. And seeing Pac-Man Death Battle would be cool. Luigi should win. I think Pac-Man is planet level. I would assume it between planet and star, but Luigi has like universal shit. So, yeah, this would be a cool fight. Make it Sprite, and, yeah. Last matchup we have Steve versus the Terrarian, Minecraft versus, Terraria. I'm growing on this matchup a lot as of late, and I think it has a high chance of happening. It's a legacy matchup. New franchises. Like, Terraria and Minecraft would not be the most expected franchises. But it is also something I forgot to mention was Finn and Jake vs. Mordecai and Rigby. They're more than willing to use a lot more modern day characters. And these two are very modern day. I think like their games came out like 2010, 2011. I don't know when the hell Minecraft Terraria came out. God. I'm losing my voice. God, I've not talked all day. But Steve vs. Terraria, like I said, legacy matchup, unexpected. Also, very high up there in the requests, at least as of late. This is going to be a very interesting one, debate, rundown, and animation-wise. The only issue, though, I see with this matchup is an animation style. I've seen a good amount of arguments for, like, what one to do, but the reason why I'm not too sure on what one to do for this matchup is, like, if you go 3D, it seems like you're leaning more towards Steve. If you go Sprite, it seems like you're more leaning to... Oh, excuse me. But I'm not sure how naturally you could do that. Oh, fucking A. But I think that might be your best bet. Like, have it constantly flip-flop between animation styles, between, like, 3D and sprites. Or maybe you could do, like, Sprite with 3D backgrounds. Maybe. I don't know. I would love to see it happen as a death battle. It could be a lot of fun. Especially, like, on both ends, really. It's very creative. You could be very creative with this matchup. Like, have them use a lot of dirt, like dirt blocks. Just fucking pile up on each other. I don't know. It could be a lot of fun, though. Minecraft is big, and especially in, like, a nostalgic phase. Terraria is also big, I believe, kinda in the nostalgic phase. Not as big as Minecraft, but, like, again, they came out around the same time. But I would love to see this as a death battle. It could be a lot of fun. I don't know who wins. I think it depends on what you buy. Like, what you buy for the Terrarian specifically. Because, like, Steve, you can kind of just give him, like... The best arguments I see for Steve, and they're funny, too, and I like them, is, like, have his full inventory be filled with, like, diamond or gold or something. Like, every single slot of each item. That would be funny. Like, that could determine, like, strength and speed. And I like that. I like that. Just to try seeing them fucking figure that shit out would be funny to me. Like, I would just be happy. I haven't really played Terraria. Like, I rented it from Family Video. I missed that. For 3DS. And I had a copy for Xbox 360. I never got to play it. It was pre-owned, and it did not work. So, yeah. But I believe, like I said, I believe it's dependent on what you buy for, at his best, I think he's Moon. But if you don't buy the Moon, Steve should win if you don't buy Moon Terrarian. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And that's all the ones I have for. Are these all the likely thumbnails? God, no! There are plenty. Like some of the ones I did mention that are highly likely for the season. Mysterio versus Scarecrow. Meliodas versus, Asta? The guy from Black Clover. Stalking versus Death the Kid. There's plenty. I'm linking on all of them, though. Why am I... A Sailor Moon matchup. That's preferably Moon versus Madoka for me, but there's plenty of matchups that could happen this season, and I'm happy for that. I would love to see this season get very creative, and I do hope they live up to like the hype they are building for themselves with new franchises and unexpected ones. I am very hyped this season, and I hope it can top 8. 6 topped 5 for me, and while 8 did not top 6, I'm hoping 9 might. It might pull a season 6 and become my new favorite. I'm very hyped for this. I'm especially hyped that we're going to get Tanjiro in Death Battle. I'm excited to learn about Jinx. I have nothing to say about the rest. Yeah, I'll be especially more hyped if it's Jonathan versus Tanjiro. God, I have not talked about that in like over almost an hour and a half. Jesus Christ. I would be surprised if people are still watching. But, yeah. I hope you all did enjoy this video regardless. Sorry it's late. I'm hoping to God this one will upload. Oh my God, it's my 3rd time. But, yeah, I hope you all did enjoy, and, I'm excited for this season. I'm gonna continue making prediction videos, don't worry. But, yeah, I got nothing else to say.